Yeah. So what's up today? Today we're gonna look at what's going on after life. So to me, this is a very interesting topic since I'm very curious about what's going on with all these near-death experiences and all this stuff. But I'm like not that very much of a spiritual guy, so I'm looking at this at a very scientific uh, way, I could say. And therefore, I stumbled over this guy here, which I'm gonna introduce in a minute. He did about 20 years of research of about 3,000 cases, which were all about near death experiences, but very hard cases, which could be in somehow hardened in evidence, and even children who report about a life before their actual life, and some of them even could find their own dead bodies which were murdered and stuff like that, and even cases in America were happening which he studied on. So he did this for about 20 years in total, and he was a very skeptic dude about the subject, and he thought that wait, I have some description about him right here, so I'm gonna read this. The afterlife and reincarnation researcher Dieter Hassler is a graduate engineer in telecommunication and has mainly worked in industrial research for medical technology in his professional life. For a long time, he had doubts about whether reincarnation existed. It was only after early retirement that he intensively dealt with the topic for more than 20 years, as I said, and he ultimately had to recognize that the reincarnation hypothesis had to be taken seriously. In his books, he had documented a great deal of circumstantial evidence indicating that there is a life after death and even rebirth. So, yeah, why not give this guy a try? What you say? Let's go into it. The most interesting thing is about these about 3,000 cases he studied. He could actually extract a few things every person more likely was about to say about their after death or afterlife experience. So, if we, I would say we should take a look at this subject and give this man a try. Let's hear what he has to say. So, I'm about to translate this stuff.
Mensch eine Seele hat, die sein Wesen beinhaltet.
So the first thing he was about to say right here is what every person more likely told was that they had a soul, and therefore he concluded that everyone has a soul which gives the person a characteristic.
Dass sich die Seele vorübergehend oder dauerhaft vom Körper trennen kann. Dass sie
The next thing is that this soul that everyone has can be disconnected permanently or for a period of time from the own body.
unsterblich ist und wiedergeboren werden kann. Wir haben
And further, that this soul even can be reborn and overcome death. So death is just a thing that your material body will experience, but not your soul. Your soul would proceed after the death and even go into a next body.
Eine Aufgabe im Diesseits und im Jenseits zu erledigen. Und zu diesen Aufgaben zählt das Lernen, die Weiterentwicklung zu hören, die Sorge um die Mitgeschöpfe und Leiden kann man auch als Lernprogramm auffassen. Ich möchte diese Aussage.
He then describes that most people would tell him that the earth is a place to learn about being self-aware, about being trying to thrive to a greater self, to respect every life on this planet, and that includes yourself. And to learn to thrive to these things, not through a demandment, but through self recognizing that this is good.
Vielleicht noch erweitern durch die vierfach bestätigten Aussagen, von denen ich vorhin schon berichtet habe. Ich trage das mal jetzt vor in Form von Prosa und nicht in Form der 17 Aussagen. Kurz nach dem Tod ist man wieder gesund und schmerzfrei, erholt sich und beobachtet.
Shortly after death, you will be in a good health state, free from every pain and stuff like that. And you will look upon your whole life from a higher perspective.
Beobachtet das Geschehen auf der Erde. Man begegnet einem weisen.
And you will look also upon the ongoing everywhere on earth, and you will meet a lightful character.
Mann, Jesus, Engeln oder allgemein ein Geistwesen, von dem man geführt wird.
So you could call this an angel, you could call this God, you could call this Allah, you could call this a spiritual leader, whatever.
In der geistigen Welt fühlt man sich wieder zu Hause, in Räumen und schönen Landschaften, hat kein Zeitempfinden und fühlt sich eins mit allen anderen Wesen.
In the spiritual world, you will feel connected again to everything which you can't experience on Earth, they say.
Mittels Gedankenkraft kann man sich leicht fortbewegen und verständigt sich ohne Worte, telepathisch mit anderen Wesen.
So you can mostly manipulate everything in the other dimension with your thinking rather than your movement. Even thoughts are communicated telepathically. So.
Man lebt in Gruppen, deren Mitglieder sich in etwa gleich entwickelt und dieselben Ziele haben.
And you will go through these lives with groups of people with similar points of learnings, which you may consider sometimes friends, sometimes family. Maybe they switch depending on how your past lives have been gone, and so on. And it's also considered that even pain is a form of learning, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. If maybe you harmed somebody, it's in the other prospect more a kind of learning thing, which is for most people really hard to accept. Even for me, it's like, really? All right.
Ebenso wie im Diesseits hat man auch im Jenseits Aufgaben zu erfüllen, lernt und entwickelt sich weiter. Es gibt eine hierarchische Ordnung hinsichtlich geistiger Bewusstheit.
And another interesting thing, even in the other dimension, like here, you have a plan you will go through to learn and thrive, and there's a sort of hierarchy in order of spirituality. So like higher beings which are spiritual, more advanced than we are, and we are like scholars, young scholars going through this stuff.
Noch im Jenseits kann man die zukünftige Mutter auswählen, bei der man als Baby wieder auf die Welt kommen will.
And you will choose your mother, which will give you birth. This is also a special thing. So it seems like you choose your mother rather than you're being born into her. So that's also a characteristic, they say.
Natürlich kann, muss, das gilt nicht unbedingt für jeden.
Herr Hassler, herzlichen Dank für das Gespräch.
Bitte schön, gerne.
So this is the most basic statements he made, which is very interesting. It leads on to many questions and many ways to think about life and all this stuff. Tell me what you think about this subject, and if you like to see more about him, about the way he did his research, so you can not go like, yeah, it's all nut stuff. It's really hard science he did there. And if you want to know more about this, just leave a comment below, and I make another comment about, or a reaction about his statements and the way he got into his research results. So leave a comment, tell me if you liked it or not. Peace.
Tracks for life, Eindruck prägt den Geist. Check your rhymes. Jeder Eindruck prägt den Geist. Leb für den Style, leb für den Scheiß. Eindruck prägt den Geist. Flugzeuge im Bauch sind gelandet. Gefühle kommen langsam abhanden. Der Alltag kriecht wie eine Schlange, spürt Gift über unsere Gedanken und wir regen uns mit einem Streit wieder ab, mit der Hoffnung, dass es dann gleich wieder klappt. Und doch artet's wieder aus, immer der gleiche Blues, kein Schnuff, keine Ruhe, kein Platz. Statt Liebe braucht's nur Kraft. Man flüchtet Nacht für Nacht vor dem Kontakt, schottet ab. Bis Schiff gesunken ist, bis nimmer der ganze Bunde bist. Denn wir sind einsam und wir gehen allein und leben nur von den Eindrücken unterm Strich. Tracks for life, Eindruck prägt den Geist. Check your rhymes. Jeder Eindruck prägt den Geist. Leb für den Style, leb für den Scheiß. Eindruck prägt den Geist.